Something you should know about me is that I think ghosting is one of the most terrible things you can do to another person. Not calling them back, removing yourself from their lives, unless it is for safety or security reasons. There's no reason why you should ghost someone you love or someone you care about. My guest today, Karolina, has been ghosted by a close friend. It's been a while, and she's wondering if she should reach out again. I'm really curious where this conversation will take us. I'm Mauricio Bruce, and this is The Real Question. Hi, Karolina. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm very excited for you to be here, and I'm very excited to get to know you. But as you know, before we begin, I get to ask you one question, which is, if there's anything that you could share about yourself, what would you like the world to know?
So my discovery in the last few years is that I can really enjoy doing things I'm very bad at. I'm normally a perfectionist, but in the last few years, I've taken up playing an instrument, which I've never done. And I've taken up a new sport, which I hadn't played since I was a teenager. And I'm very bad at both of those things, and I absolutely love them. So definitely something I would recommend.
I mean, I'm sort of obsessed with that. I have to ask follow-up questions. You know this. What's the instrument?
It's piano. I've always wanted to play the piano, but we lived in a very cramped, tiny house with lots of kids. And then I got to my late 20s and I kept complaining to a friend that I've never learned to play an instrument. And she was like, why don't you start now?
Yes. And then what's the sport? What sport are you playing?
The sport is tennis. So
amazing.
When I was little, my brothers and I had lessons and we played a little. And then we stopped. And then I just took it up again. And again, I am terrible, but I love playing and I love watching. And I'm actually in New York because of the US Open I attended last week.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
You've come here to ask me a question and to see if we can talk about it. And I am eager to know what your question is.
Yes. So my question is, should I try and reconnect with a former friend who has ghosted me? And it's a very pithy way of saying she stopped responding to my messages, but I don't really know if it was ghosting or if the friendship just fell apart.
Okay. Ooh, it's a beautiful question. Can we get a little bit of context? How did this come about? What happened?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So this is someone I met after university. We both joined the same company on their graduate program, which is where kids straight out of university go work for companies having very little to no prior professional work experience. And so we were both terrified, trying something completely new. And there was a group of us graduates joining, but the two of us sort of gravitated towards each other. And we quite quickly became friends because we were at work together at least 8 hours a day. We had lunch together. We were similar in personality. And so our friendship went from being just work friends to hanging out in the evenings, going to the cinema, having brunch over the weekend, going to the gym together. We became real friends, not just work friends. And then a few years after we started working together, she moved to another city. And so the way that we were friends slightly changed since then. And then I left the company. I also moved to a different city. And whilst we still stayed in touch, it was a lot rarer that we would exchange messages because when you're at the same company, you can open the Skype or Teams or whatever and just message each other throughout the day. But when I quit the job, I went on to do my master's. So my schedule was different and things just weren't aligned. But we were still in touch. And I even went to visit her in the city where she moved. And we spent a long weekend just exploring the city and having a really good time. And that was the last time I saw her, because a few months after that, and I don't remember the exact timeline off the top of my head, but she lost someone really important to her. And I couldn't be there for her physically, geographically. I was still at school. I did send what I thought was a heartfelt message conveying how sorry I was, and if she ever needed to talk, that I was there for her, to which I received no reply. And that wasn't surprising because she had other things on her mind. So a few weeks later, I followed up with another message just saying, I hope everything went well with arrangements. And if you need to talk, I'm here for you. And she also didn't answer that second message. And so at that point, I wasn't sure if she had simply forgotten to respond to me or if it was intentional. And because we had been friends for a few years, I thought it was unlikely that she would have completely forgotten about me. So there must have been some intention to it. And so that was, I want to say, 5 years ago. And from time to time, I've been seeing updates on social media just pushed into my feed, not her posting anything that was directed to me specifically. But I know that she has a beautiful family, she's married, she has a baby, and she looks really happy. And I've been thinking recently that I would love to hear how she's doing, just from her, not from a Facebook post. But I don't know if that would be welcome, if there is a reason why she's never responded to any of my final messages. And also, if my motivations are pure, if that makes sense, if I'm not just being nosy. I don't think so, but I know I can be a bit of a gossip, so.
Okay. So thank you for that history of your friendship. I think it's lovely. And you even answered some of the questions that were coming up as you were saying it. And so the ghosting, the disappearing act happened 5 years ago.
Yes.
It's been a while since you've tried to reach out. She's gone on with her life. When you last saw her 5 years ago, was she even in the relationship with the person who's now their partner?
Yes, they had only just started dating. And it's a person that we used to work with together, so that her partner knew me. And so one of the thoughts that I had at the time was, is there any reason he doesn't like me? Is there any reason he doesn't think we should be friends? Maybe this is somewhat related. But I never had any indication that this might be the case. So it was just me speculating.
And even if there is a reason, this is not the way to do it. Even if the partner says, Karolina's nosy, she's a gossip, just ghosting you or completely stopping the conversation is not the way to end the relationship or to address the concerns, right?
Yes, I wouldn't do it myself.
Yeah, exactly. So my next question, before we even start to think about that, besides just being nosy, I'm curious, what's pulling at you? Why would you want to explore or dive back into that relationship? What are you missing? What are you remembering? What's going on right now?
So I still think about her from time to time. We were at the time quite similar people with a similar sense of humor. We read similar books and watched similar TV shows. And so from time to time, I see something or hear something and think to myself, oh, my friend would really like that. So I still remember her and I have really good memories of our friendship. And she was going through some really tough times during our friendship. And so seeing these posts in which she is happy and seems very fulfilled, it sort of made me feel nice and warm inside. And I thought to myself that I would love to be able to tell her, I'm so happy for you.
So just to confirm or to clarify what I heard, you said she was going through really tough times during your relationship. The whole time of your friendship or just toward the end there?
There were different things happening, not just losing an important family member, but also she'd broken up with someone she'd been with for a long time. She had moved cities, which was also very stressful. We were friends for about 3 to 4 years, and those were quite formative years in that we just finished university and we're starting our proper adult lives. So there was a lot happening, and I know that she wasn't always having the best time.
Yeah. And then one last bit, which is you. When all this happened, when you stopped receiving messages, when your mind would ask at night, hey, I wonder if she's going to write back. I just want to know what was going on through your mind. How were you feeling? How did this affect you?
Mm-hmm. On the one hand, because we weren't seeing each other all that often, it would sometimes slip to the back of my mind that we weren't in touch anymore. And around the same time, because I'd moved cities, I'd quit my job, I had lost touch with a lot of other people. So it was part of a bigger life shift for me. But because it was a big life shift for me, I had moved away from a lot of old friends, and I just missed that sort of presence, someone I could just text a silly joke or, recommend a show or a book that I'd just seen, someone with whom conversation always came really easily to me. The kind of relationship that I really would have appreciated when I was in a new city, surrounded by new people who were all great, but whom I didn't know as well as that former friend of mine.
Who you had started a new thing with, right? This was the friend of new beginnings in a way.
Absolutely.
And you've sort of hinted at it, but I just want to address it. Like this worry, like, is there something I did? Did her partner not like me? Like, were there some of these worries? Were you affected by these?
Absolutely, yes. When I found out that she had lost someone important to her, obviously I knew I had to reach out, but I kept thinking, should I have called? Should I have tried to make an attempt to see her in person? And instead, I just texted, and I always had it at the back of my mind that perhaps that was insufficient, or maybe what I had written was too generic or too vague and it wasn't what she needed. So I have always worried that there is something I had done which may have damaged the friendship, and that for that reason, she may not want to hear from me.
Thank you for that, Karolina. I think I'm going to be honest, I was hunting for that. Because when someone stops talking to us, in couples, it'll happen often where I get angry at my partner. And so the punishment that I impart is I stop talking. Mm-hmm. Usually it leaves the victim feeling like this, like, what did I do wrong? And oftentimes you did nothing wrong. But this question, did I do something wrong, will haunt you. And this is sort of the unfairness or the really cruel part of stopping our communication with someone else.
Yeah.
So in this case, when you're talking about, did she ghost me? Should I reach out? Should I try and establish connection again? I want you to be really aware of this hurt that was done, right? Because you've been holding this. Did I say something wrong? Should I have been a better friend? Should I have written something? Should I have called? Should I have visited? Would we still be friends if I had done it right?
Yes.
And so I'm curious, right now, what's your impulse? Do you want to reach out? If I said right now, let's do it, would you say, okay, let's do it? Let's have a phone call? Or what are you feeling?
My instinct would be to write something down and then sit on it for a week and consider whether or not I should send it. I definitely wouldn't pick up the phone or go knock on her door, even if I knew where that was. But I think whilst doing that, I would be really scared of feeling rejected again if she didn't respond. Because I've tried in the past and it hurt. And even though it's been 5 years, I think I would really be hurt again if that happened. That happened now.
I'm curious about what you would write down.
I think I would just start by saying, I've seen your wedding photos and I've seen the photos of your family and you all look beautiful and I'm very happy for you. That's the first thing that came to mind, really, when I started thinking about this question recently. I would just say, I'm very happy for you and I'm so glad your life has worked out the way that it has. And, ask if she would ever be open to meeting up. We still live in the same country. I know for a fact that she has been to my city before, again, from various random Facebook updates. So perhaps there might be an opportunity for us to meet in the next, few months, few years.
So you would write and say, I'm so glad everything's great. I saw your pictures. You look so happy.
And I would love to hear more from you.
What would be the best outcome of this? If you wrote this, what would be the best outcome?
Best case scenario, she writes back and says, Hi, it's so lovely to hear from you. Yes, the wedding was beautiful, and the next time we're in your city, how about we grab a coffee? I would love to tell you more about my life, and I would love to hear more about yours. That would be nice too.
Yeah. What would you be looking for from this relationship if you were to reach out and try to establish a friendship again with a person who ghosted you?
Mhm.
Best case scenario, what would you get from this friendship? What would you be looking for?
I would be looking to have someone that I can occasionally meet when we're in the same city where we're close to each other, someone I can text about a great song that I've heard that perhaps she might enjoy. I know we live very different lives and we wouldn't be besties going out for brunch every weekend again because we live in different cities, we have different lifestyles. She has a family. So I wouldn't be looking to reestablish the kind of relationship we had back then. I just feel like it's a shame to not be in contact anymore at all, given how close we used to be and given that we really enjoyed each other's company and we had fun together.
So I have another suspicion, and I just want to check because that kind of friendship, right? Like I'm going to write a person who ghosted me and who hurt me so that we can have sort of a casual acquaintance.
Yeah, I guess that is it.
And I'm curious underneath that, if there isn't a desire by Karolina, I want to reach out to this friend who ghosted me because I'm still hurt and I need us to resolve what happened.
I think there's definitely the fact that I don't know what happened and I would be interested to know what happened. I think you were right when you said that I still feel like it was my fault on some level. And so if she were to say, yes, you were a terrible friend, which is why I cut off contact, at least I would know that for sure. And I could do things differently with other friends in the future. If she were to say, I am sorry, I was going through a terrible time and I couldn't do anything other than try to deal with my own grief and the things in my own life, then I would know that it wasn't my fault. And that, yeah, perhaps we could just be casual acquaintances who enjoy talking from time to time.
Yeah, and resume the relationship we used to have. But there's that thing right there that you talked about, which is sort of the which needs to resolve one way or the other.
Yes, I probably wouldn't lead with that, but that it would be really nice to know what really happened for sure.
So if we go back 5 years ago to that moment, this is going to sound like a silly question, but I'm really being honest about it. Did you do something wrong?
I wouldn't say wrong, but I probably didn't do everything I could. I probably should have called. I probably should have made more of an effort to reach out to comfort a friend. It's something that I would have done now, 5 years on. I would have tried a bit harder, but I don't think I said anything insensitive. I don't think I offended her in any way. It's more not doing enough than doing something wrong.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to explain. I don't want us to even attempt this connection right now, 5 years later,
Mm-hmm.
if there's a lot of guilt, if you're going to approach this from a place of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard in our conversation that you did anything that was wrong. And I hear a person who has sort of punished you by removing themselves from your life. And we're not sure why. And so if we went back to that thing you were going to write where you said, hey, I've seen your pictures. It's lovely. You look so happy. Write me back if you feel like it. How does that feel?
It's definitely something I would want her to know.
Yeah.
But I don't know if maybe it's coming from a place of neediness in me.
Yeah. I don't hear neediness in any of what we're talking about. But I do feel something that's been left sort of without conclusion, right? It was just sort of left on pause.
Yes.
And so you're looking for this to be unpaused and end if it needs to end or go on if it can go on. But there's this pause thing that really hurts you.
Yes, I think you're right. It's just unfinished business. And unless I have some sort of conclusion, I will keep thinking about it. And it's not toxic. I don't feel like it's making me feel terrible about myself, but it is just something that's, this nagging feeling whenever I see something that reminds me of that friend. That's there.
Yeah, and that's what's really beautiful to me is you keep bringing her into your life. She's still a part of your imagination in a way, right? You see something that makes you think of her, and you think of her. Oh, I'd like to send her this. This reminds me of her. I'd like her to hear this song. Right? You haven't put her away.
Yes.
There's still quite a bit of love or of appreciation toward that friend from you.
Yes, absolutely.
So having sort of put all of this together, Karolina, I want to ask, is there a place to reapproach this friendship? Because I think we need to come to that place of pause, right? It's hurting you enough that we can't just sort of say, yeah, no, just leave it on pause.
Yes, I think I need to make a decision one way or another.
Yeah, we need to unpause it in you.
Yes, as to whether I just tell myself, such is life, and it's time to move on, and this person now has a whole different life, and accept it. Or if I try to reach out and find some kind of closure, or restart the acquaintance. But I think you are right that it is difficult just being in this poor state.
So let's think about different strategies or different ways to approach this unpausing. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So there's one which you just talked about, which is where we say, the way I unpause this is by sort of taking it out of my inbox, right?
Yes.
I'm going to let this go. You said such is life. I'm sad this relationship ended the way it did, but I need to move on.
Yes.
What does that feel like, just talking about it?
It feels okay. Because it's been 5 years, it's not like my life would change in any way, but it would definitely be a process to consciously stop thinking, oh, what if she sees my post? What if she responds? What if she finally reaches out? Because I think at the back of my mind, I keep thinking, is she having these same questions to herself? And if not, then is it my fault?
Okay. So we go to strategy number 2, which is about contacting her, about reaching out and saying hi.
Yes.
There's a couple of different ways in which we could reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Your initial instinct a little bit ago was to reach out from a place of, I've seen you on social media. I love what you post. I'm so happy you're happy. Know that I'm here, in a way.
Yes.
But what would it feel like to acknowledge your feelings?
Oh, it would feel very vulnerable. And because I'm writing to someone who at this point is virtually a stranger to me, it would be a bit scary.
What would you say? Let's pretend you're writing to me just for a moment. How would you acknowledge your feelings?
I think I would see, my instinct is to say, I'm sorry I wasn't a better friend at the time. That's the first thing that comes into mind.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than saying anything about my own feelings, which is, I was gutted when you never responded to me, and I didn't know why.
So I'm gonna, if you hurt her, if something you did hurt her, whose responsibility is it to point that out?
would be hers. I have no way of knowing what went on in her head.
That's right. So having just arrived there, I'm wondering if the approach to reach out changes.
I feel like the right thing for me would be to, in addition to, I've seen your post, I'm happy you're happy, would be to say, I felt really sorry that our friendship couldn't continue, and I would like to know more about her perspective on it. Yeah, it would be really helpful to me. If I were to reach out, it would be really helpful to understand what really happened.
Yeah. But if we had to do a combination, so we have one, first strategy, move on out of the inbox, such is life. 2, reaching out and saying, hi, I've seen your posts. You have a beautiful life. Hi.
Yes.
There's a third strategy where we're sort of exploring, I feel really sorry, we're not friends anymore, and you have a beautiful life.
Yes.
And there's sort of a fourth, which is a combination of the first and all of these, where we say, hey, here's a message, and that's what I needed to find closure.
See, I don't know that just sending a message would be closure. If I were to go and pursue the first route that we talked about and try and find it within me to find that closure, then I probably wouldn't be sending a message at all, because reaching out would just make it more difficult.
I understand that. And sometimes when things are on pause, there are things that I need to do for myself to be able to unpause them.
Yes.
A message that I send where I can say, I still think about what happened 5 years ago. I really enjoyed our friendship. I don't know what happened. I miss you, and I hope you're having a good life.
That feels beautiful. I don't know if I would have the courage to just send a message like that, to not expect a response. I think I would expect a response, and just every day that went by without receiving one, I would feel hurt again.
Yeah.
So I would love to be in a position where I could do this, because it feels like a beautiful way to go.
So when I hear that, if I sent a response and I got ghosted again,
yes,
which is in a way the expectation.
Yes.
But if I got ghosted again, I would get hurt again and keep getting hurt every day that passed.
And we might be having the same conversation in 5 years.
So what I'm going to ask you, which is sort of, I've been going around it, other than, hey, here's what happened, here's what you did wrong. What are you hoping? What are you wishing? What are you desiring to hear from her?
I don't know, because maybe having her say it wasn't my fault is really what I'm looking for. Because yes, we wouldn't be close friends anymore. She wouldn't be in my life constantly. As you say, we'd be casual acquaintances. So it probably wouldn't massively change my life even in the best case scenario. So perhaps what I'm really needing is just to know from her that she wasn't hurt by anything I did.
And if you knew that she wasn't hurt by anything I did, what would you be able to do?
I think then I could let it go. Then I could see another post from her and just smile instead of feeling a little bit of a pang in my chest. Like, oh.
Yeah. Can I ask you, would you be able to forgive yourself?
Yes, I think so. It would. It definitely wouldn't be playing on my mind in 5 years' time.
Is that what you're missing? Forgiveness?
Yeah, maybe. I can be a bit hard on myself. And thinking that I may have hurt someone so badly that they cut off all contact is Yeah, it is bothering me.
Yeah, I'm sorry this happened. I'm sorry
Thank
this
you.
is how this relationship ended up. I can feel your pain, and I'm so sorry you have to hold this.
Thank you. Yeah, I can see how I'm feeling much more strongly about it than I thought.
You've felt strong enough about it to hold on to this for 5 years.
Yes, it's a bit like a splinter. It's not this huge thing that's always at the top of my mind, but it's always there.
So we're sitting with the unknown, which is your friend, and with the known, which is everything that you're feeling here. And so a part of this interaction, a part of what you want to do, which is reach out, potentially, possibly, requires you to be comfortable with the unknown.
Yes.
Right? Maybe your friend won't write back. Maybe they will continue to ghost you. Maybe they'll write back and say, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you wrote. Like, I hadn't written you so long and I was so ashamed. I didn't know how to deal with that. And I missed you so much." Or maybe they'll just go, "Please don't write anymore." All those things are possible. And so I suggested earlier, maybe just sending a message to sort of clear your conscience and say, "Hey, I miss you so much. And I'm so happy you have a good life. And I'll be here if you ever want to reconnect." But that also was scary for you because you said, "I would expect something back. I wouldn't be comfortable just sending that off and being okay with it in the void."
Yes.
And so as we've sort of gone around this unknown, I'm curious, where are you sitting with it now? Where are you sitting with your question? What is your impulse? How can I follow you further on this trek?
So right now, I think I need to spend some time with myself thinking about whether or not I can just let go, and whether that is letting go by not contacting that friend at all, or by sending a message into the void and not expecting anything. And I think if I can get comfortable that I might send a message not expecting anything, and not be hurt or disappointed in any way when a response doesn't arrive, then I might think about genuinely sending that message.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. And it's almost when I can let go of whatever is going to come back from the unknown, then I can send something into the unknown.
Yes, if I can do it because sending it makes me feel better rather than receiving anything back would make me feel better.
That's right. So this is about you and not about
Yes.
them.
Yes.
And as I acknowledge the uncomfortable sensation of not knowing, did I do something? Was it me? Was it her? Was it the partner? Who was it? What was it? I also want to try and one more time say, I don't think there's anything you did that deserves silence.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I'm left with your former self who had just left university, who was starting their adult life, who found a friend who they really connected with and who they really built something with. That former self who is still hurt, wondering, what happened to my friend? And I just don't want you to approach all new relationships with that hurt that says they can leave and stop talking to me any minute.
Yes.
I can't trust them fully because they could ghost me. And if we can address that place where the hurt happened, then maybe we can prepare you to have some new relationships that can satisfy that hole that was left.
Yes. I think being a bit kinder to my younger self from 5 years ago would definitely be helpful, because life happens. And since then, I have had friends and acquaintances who have gone through difficult life changes. And every single time I thought, am I doing enough? Am I saying something wrong?
That wound is still there.
Yes.
Am I a good enough friend? Are they going to ghost me?
Yeah.
And so what would work? What could we say to that younger self? Do you have any idea?
I think just look around at all your other friends, people you've known for such a long time, your family, and none of them have ever ghosted you. There's so many people who do appreciate my company, my friendship, and that I'm close with. That clearly the problem isn't that I'm a terrible friend. The problem is something that happened in that relationship.
Look at how conscientious. You're here on a podcast talking about that friend, trying to figure out more strategies to see if you can mend something that you don't even know what that something is. So I know I'm not the person who you're waiting to hear this from. And if I can say it again, I have not heard that you did anything wrong. I have not heard that you were a bad friend. I haven't heard that you hurt anybody. All I've heard is a very caring and loving person trying to make sure that their friend is okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if there's anything else I can say or should say. I just want to bring you back to the question that we started with, because I'm supposed to do that for the show.
Of course.
And the question that we started this was, should I try and reconnect with a friend who has ghosted me? And I'm wondering where you're sitting with that right now.
I think right now my answer is no, because I need to work through some things myself and make sure that I am approaching it thinking about myself rather than hoping that that friend might absolve me of any guilt and make me feel better.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's the time to reach out just yet. Thank you, Karolina. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for the way you care.
Thank you for having me. And this was really helpful and didn't go where I thought it would at all. So
this has been The Real Question. Our show is funded through our Patreon at patreon.com/realquestionpod. Another way you can support this show is by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. Please leave us a review. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Real Question Pod. We are always looking for more guests, so go to our website, realquestionpod.com, and submit a question. We love to shout out our BFF tier patrons, Renee Underhill, Amanda Schramm, Christina Igu Brandon, and Jackson Paul Keeley. We are a Not Sorry production. Our co-executive producers are Vanessa Zoltan and Ariana Nettleman. We are edited and produced by Ariana Nettleman. Music is by Nick Bowl, and we are distributed by Acast. Support for this show comes from the Fetzer Institute. Thank you, Karolina, for joining us today. Thank you for bringing the story, for bringing your vulnerability, for reminding us that it is not okay to ghost anyone. Thanks as always to our wonderful team, Julia Argy, Nikki Zoltan, AJ Yaramis, Anissa Ahmed, Danny Langley, Courtney Brown, Casper Turkile, and Stephanie Pausell. This has been The Real Question. See you next week.